Yo,
Good
how we
morning,
dabbling?
Bazuaku.
How are we?
We're all right, mate. It's been a nice break from the world of West Ham social media, mate. I think it was needed for everyone's sake.
Yeah, mate, I tend to agree with you. I tell you what, I've been a bit puzzled at. I've seen the comments like the international breaks come at a wrong time because of momentum and all that. Mate, I think it's come at a worse time for Spurs than us, to be fair, with the run they was on and the goals they were scoring. I know, obviously, we had done well and won the two games without conceding, scoring seven. But yeah, mate, I don't think it'll affect us like that. I'll tell you what as well. I don't half hope Eric Dier plays centre back for Tottenham next weekend. Antonio
Mate,
will have a field day.
I do get what you're saying, and I watched the Tottenham documentary, and as much as he is useless, and as much as we all know he's a absolutely poor player, mate, he really wants to do well, and he's got the right
Yeah,
attitude, and he tries, and he ain't a bad fella, mate. But he just can't play football. I'm sorry, and that's it. So I do feel a little bit gutted for him because I watched that documentary, and mate, he does put in everything to try and be a better player, and Mourinho's tried to give him that confidence and tried to. I don't know, sort of show him that he believes in him, but he just ain't got it, mate, has he?
I think he's a better number four than the centre back personally. I just like you see with that tackle. That's the sort of tackles he does, but for their penalty last night. And you can't make them mistakes as a centre back, and he does it all the time. He never learns from that, and that's why I hope he plays at the back for Spurs. But you're right, he seems a right grounded fella, a nice guy, and I don't know. I hope he's centre back against us, and then goes into the number four role after that because I think he's a better number four. I just want to say a quick hello because he's been messaging me all morning to Doc Savage. Doc, I hope you're watching, mate, and good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else who's been in the comments. Oh, and Frankie, it's Colton Cole's birthday today, so a big happy birthday to Colton Cole as well from us here at Clarence Blimey TV. What was your thoughts on well, we've got to start with Declan Rice, I suppose, with England yesterday.
One of his best performances he's had with England, I
Mm.
think. Very solid, doing that job that's not the prettiest job in the world. It's never gonna. Well, to be fair, normally you have those type of performances and you'd get a 6 or a 7 in the paper because that's they don't. It's an underappreciated role that he's got there. And however, he got the highest rating in the paper this morning for anyone on the England team. So it was good to see that it didn't go unnoticed. And yeah, he done everything that was asked of him last night.
I thought that second half, especially, he was solid. I thought he bossed the game. Second half, totally run it. Not so much the first. I'm not saying he had a bad first half, but it was nowhere near that second half. I just thought that second half he was special. But I mean, looking at that lineup, I worried. I even tweeted myself. There was 3 right backs starting last night with Walker. I know Trippier was always going to play on the left because we didn't have a left back. But if that back four, if we had played a back four with them, I tweeted it before the game, so I didn't know what the system was going to be. But Trent, Kyle Walker, and Trippier, if them 3 were part of a back four, I would have been worried. But it was quite a disciplined performance, to be fair. And the first 10 minutes, I thought they were pretty good. And then as soon as they had that one chance, Belgium, they seemed to get in control of the game and obviously had the goal disallowed, then scored. But a good result for England, to be fair, against a good side.
It's boring football to watch, though, mate, isn't it? It's not.
It is.
And
It
it is
is.
what we sort of bored him into submission. And mate, end of the day, winning games is what's obviously important. But I'm not saying I sat there and was overly entertained, to be honest, mate.
No, and mate, I agree with you. And again, as well as my tweet, I said I put in the tweet before, I don't know how Jack Grealish didn't get a start after the performance the game before. I know that was only against Wales and the friendly, and that's no disrespect to Wales, but that for me was every reason he should have started last night. And he's just someone who gives you that extra bit of creativity. And when I looked at that team last night, I thought, where do we create chances? We really had, like, including the keeper, 8 defensive players behind the ball. You know what I mean? We only had Rashford, Calvert-Lewin, and Mason Mount going forward.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, again, I don't want to be like the negative man, but that's what worries me with Gareth Southgate, and I do think he's a bit like that. And I think we paid the price for that when we played. Who did we get beaten? No, we won on penalties in the World Cup. Who did we beat on pens? If Kent's in here, we'll know straight away.
What one? The last
the
one
World
we
Cup.
played?
Yeah, we drew
Colombia.
1-1. Colombia, it was, yeah. And that game, I think we was bossing that. Hornchurch Hammers got it. Colombia, they're all getting it now. Max Martin, Frankie was on the money, got it. And the same with that game. We were bossing that, and then I can't remember the silly changes he made now. And it brought them back into the game. Then they equalised, didn't they? And then we obviously went to penalties. That's just naive game management, and I find that a bit of a struggle with him.
I mean, with the England thing, the only thing I don't get is when you've got the teams that want to dominate in international football. I'm all for experiment. I'm all for people getting a chance when they deserve a chance. I've got no problem with that. But if you want to be the best international team that you can be, you have to decide on what the side is that you want, and then you have to keep that setup and that side and that formation all the way through all your friendly games, right up until the next international tournament, so everyone gets used to playing with each other and how to play with each other. I know people want to try and break in. I know you want to try and, give people a chance, but when you also do it the other way and you set up the same way with your strongest side that you think that you've got available to you, and you keep playing that way, when someone does finally pull on that shirt, it's a special moment because you don't get very many chances. So for me, I'd just like to see England find what they and see Southgate find what he thinks his best side is and stick with it a little bit and play it in every game, and just use it like it's use it like it's your squad in standard football, and just keep playing that way, and then go right up to the tournament like that. And then when you go into that tournament, you're all used to playing with each other, how each other plays.
That's right, yeah.
That's the only thing that I'd like to see him do now, is he's done his bit of experimenting, but now let's find what our best team actually is and stick with it for a bit.
Yeah, no, I'll second that, mate. I do second
that.
Just a quick
one on that one, mate. Mickey's just messaged us, Mickey Moore over on Facebook. He put together some 125 years anniversary West Ham shirts. They look the absolute business. So if anyone's interested in a anniversary T-shirt, add Mickey over on Facebook, and he's got them all available to order right now.
Perfecto. Make sure you go over and give him a follow and get ordering. They are good. They're the ones you sent me in the DMs, and they look really, really good. In fact, I think one of them's your profile picture, isn't it? On the group chat on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think it is, mate. Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah. So there's obviously been a bit of transfer speculation. Looks like we missed out on Josh King, so we couldn't agree a deal. Shock. But it looks like it's alive with Barrett. What's his name?
Benrahma.
Barrett. That's in Benrahma. What's your thoughts?
I'm surprised because he is exactly the opposite of what Moyes is preferring in the team at the moment. That type of player.
Work rate.
He's just turned his back on that type of player. That type of sort of flair player with the arrogance, and he does a bit more running than the typical players that Moyes has had available to him at the moment in Anderson and so on. But that's the sort of player that I always used to want to see at West Ham. That someone who can, that bit of magic. And we've said it so many times before. West Ham's always had a hero, someone who steps up when you need them most and gets you a goal and whatever. At the moment, I don't feel like we've got any of them. So in that sense, if it gets over the line, I'm quite looking forward to watching someone who's got that bit of something special about and play, but he's obviously not proven in the Premier League, and like I say, it's just not the type of player that Moyes is choosing and selecting in the side at the moment. So I find it strange.
But, ain't we heard that though, mate? Haven't we read that Moyes really wanted Josh King and Sullivan wants Benrahma? And there is probably your answer. I think it will be positive. I've seen people saying that it's good because he'll replace Masuaku. If you think he's coming in to play left wing back, please, you're off your nut. That ain't a left wing back there, because you'll have the same problems as you had with Anderson. And if you change the formation to playing 4-4-2, you'll have the same trouble as you had with Cresswell at left back, with Anderson in front of him, with him. You won't get the work rate, like you've just said. You won't get the nitty-gritty work like Cresswell gets with Masuaku in front of him. Going forward, it'll be a positive if he can bring his game to the Premier League, as he's done in the Championship. Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I, he probably will. Jared Bowen, for example, done it in that level, come up, stepped up, proved he can do it here. I hope he can do the same if he comes through. The only thing that it baffles me, we sold the best winger in the Championship last year. We sold him this summer to another club in the Premier League, and now we're going to spend more on him. I tweeted this earlier as well. The fear for me, with it all, that money for Grady was free money. The money for him is going to be a transfer fee, which, mate, I'm convinced, because I have zero trust in them, will be a loan to the club from them. For, let's say it's 30 million quid, that will probably be West Ham owe them another 40 million quid, £10 on top. 10 million on top. That's why I think this transfer could happen. If not, I think you would have kept Grady, in my opinion. With what we see last year and what we knew, we've read, and he said it himself on TalkSport, David Sullivan, about a centre back. And I know they're going for Dawson, who's free, or I think it's a free transfer, or pretty much fuck all. But all the talk is about him now. I can't get it. I don't understand whatsoever the logic. It's as if we're going to buy a £30 million player, you will be happy. That's what I think it is. And for me, it ain't. I would have rather us got 5 players, cover in midfield, cover at centre-back, cover up top, cover out wide. And even if the total cost 30 million quid, for them 4 players there alone, that would have been so much better for me, in my opinion, for us, rather than going to give 30 million on someone who is unproven, especially when you had someone there who was free. And that's why I'm convinced it will be about money, and it will be about, they've made 18 million quid off of Grady. They'll loan the club 30 million quid to buy this kid, but West Ham now owe us 40 million quid, or however much it may be, the interest rate. That's what I think the issue is. And again, let's not forget, the same man told TalkSport he cannot spend 100% of his budget on a centre-back. Why can you a left winger then? That's where I'm at, and I don't want to be negative.
We've already got 8 of them. However, 2's gone out.
We've got 6 now. We've got 6. Yeah. And that's my concern. I don't want to be negative, not at all about it. And again, I won't be negative regarding the performances we've seen. It doesn't start for me straight away. That team don't get changed. I think it'd be very harsh if he walked in that side. He is a left front three, as Fornals has been planned. We found out Fornals ain't a left winger. We've realised that. We realised Anderson wasn't that. Maybe Anderson would work in this formation now with that attacking freak. Something we won't know. But this just smells dodgy for me. Real dodgy, because I don't believe that transfer is... We've heard it's not what the manager wants.
Mate, we ain't put no money in Salthouse's pocket yet. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, more than likely. And I think, again...
If you look through it, why didn't we... All right, we haven't just started to try and go after this signing because the window in for the rest of signings is closed. But it was a great excuse to have to go and sign him, waiting until the rest of the window was closed, because now you have to go and take the best that the Championship has to offer. So if we do go and sign him now on a silly fee and pay ridiculous agent fees through it, no one can, or the way that Sullivan will see it is, no one can argue with that anymore, because that was the only option that we had available to us. So for me, mate, it's just lining an agent's pocket. But we are getting a player who has got a little bit of buzz around him, that has got a little bit of excitement around him. I think the biggest point is what was just made in here, and this is what really worries me, and especially in the Premier League. Where is the comment? That one. Benrahma goes missing when he gets hit, and that's the point, mate. He is one of those luxury players. When the going gets tough, mate, he goes hiding, and we saw that in the playoff games and other games where they really needed a result. If you get a team that sticks it on him and crunches him, he don't fancy it. So Yeah, like I say, and a few people have said it. This isn't a Moyes signing. This is a Sullivan signing.
No,
He's
and
engineered this.
yeah, and again, as I say, that's the worry, and it will like, mate, it'll only be to benefit them, benefit maybe sort of us, like you said. And I think the talk's been said that he's not his direct agent, but he's involved in the deal. Now, again, there'd be a reason for that. It's just it smells dodgy for me. It smells too dodgy. And it's not the player. Yes, I think he has gone hiding at times for Brentford towards the end, but I still think he's a half decent player. But I would have rathered what we had, if I'm honest with you. Both of unproven in the Premier League with Grady and him, but you've heard West Ham players talk about Grady saying that they believe and he's got the ability, and that was just, for me, that would have been a no-brainer. That could have meant we had £30 million extra to have spent on the centre back, or 15 million on two left back, or right back and the left back, however it may have been. You know what I mean? Instead, we're putting it all in there, and it's like people have put in this chat. That is all to try and please the fans. I know a good friend of the Boards tweeted, I'm not going to name names, tweeted when Grady went, and then just before Anson went, if we lose both of these and don't replace them both, I'm going to lose my shit. But they will get Benrahma or whatever his name is, Benrahma, and all will be okay. But that's only one. That's not replacing both. But you was going to lose your shit. And that's not a dig at him, but this is what they're trying, this is what they will try and do. In my opinion, we have to sign two wingers now because we've lost two. Centre back, centre midfielder, and a forward, and it ain't going to happen.
No, I mean we've obviously already got an issue potentially with Masuaku, and you just look at any sort of injury and what that can do to this squad at the moment, mate. That squad is so thin. I mean, the smallest squad in the Premier League is a strange. I don't understand the mindset behind that. Why would you want to leave yourself that thin? Very, very odd, mate.
It doesn't add up to me. And again, if Masuaku gets injured, like you've just said, or is out, the worry is who plays that left wing back. That's the big worry.
So we've got so many positions like that. Even
but with that,
who plays.
The problem with that, if you change from that formation because there's no one to play it, to put Cresswell at left back, he's left open again because there's not a left midfielder who's going to help him. That's what's left him vulnerable, in my opinion. The only way it possibly could work, and I don't know if it would or not, would be Cresswell to go as the left wing back, and you bring in another centre half into the back three. I personally don't. I don't
whole way round, mate. You can try and single out certain elements of where we would struggle. The fact is, whole way across the board with that formation that we've got, because it's a new system that we're trying. We haven't brought in personnel previously to allow us to have cover in those positions. We've never played with wing backs before, mate. It's not something we've ever done. Now it's left us really short. Central midfield. And it's not just central midfield. It's the type of central midfielder you need to play that new system. We don't have them. It's the type of centre forward you need to play in that system. That this is the whole. Even if you take someone like Bowen out, mate, you're really going to struggle because that work rate he gives you down that right hand side is so important to that working. We've stumbled across something that has just worked. It's just clicked, and I'm so happy that we've done that. However, once we found out that system is what we want to play moving forward, and I know someone in here said, it's not about cover. We've tried bringing in cover players before and it didn't work out. Quality over quantity all day long. That's fine when you've been building for a system for years and you've got people in cover already and you want to go and improve players in your first team. I don't think we've got that luxury at the moment, mate. I think that squad is so bare bones, and I think any injury at the moment leaves us bang in trouble. So I would have just liked to have seen us gone and sign some. And then all this loan rubbish, mate. Premier League clubs shouldn't need to go and bring in loans unless you're desperate because you've had an injury at the beginning of the season or something like that. I would have liked to have seen us go and just pick up those players from the Championship that are already gone. Because players like Matty Cash and that, they are players who could have come in, done a job, wouldn't have expected first team football right from the start, would have worked their way into the team, been competition for players, and they don't break the bank. This £30 million seems mad, to be quite honest. It's another massive gamble, and we've made enough of them recently.
Yeah, and as I say, this is exactly what he said on TalkSport he couldn't do. He couldn't blow his budget on one player, but he's prepared to now. And this is a player who the manager don't want, it's who he wants. I'm not saying the manager don't want him, actually. I'm lying saying that. It's not the manager's choice. The manager's choice is Josh King. And you know what? I'd rather Josh King for 17 million or 13 million, whatever the money is. You've got a player who can play in two roles there. He can play up top. He can play on the left. That's the player out the two we should be going hell-bent for. But you know why we won't? Because it won't be a £30 million loan from them to the club that will earn them money. I'm convinced, mate. I am convinced that is everything why we're going for him. Convinced of it.
What do you make of the big changes proposed to the Premier League and the sort of you pay per game £15 option that's being punted around?
Firstly, I'm not a season ticket holder, so I'm probably a bit wrong to comment this, but...
No, because I think at the moment no one can go to football anyway. So I think it then continues after that, but... With the way of the world, with how the climate is, and you know, it is a lot to expect to watch every Premier League game for free. It's a business. That's what it's turned into be. We know that. Would I pay for it? No, I wouldn't personally. But I don't think that someone who's a season ticket holder or any football club should be forced to pay when they can't go. I don't believe that at all. I think that the least the football club could do would be to supply that, as West Ham did before with the links. Gave out links to be able to watch games. I generally believe that's exactly what should be happening now. That doesn't help me, but it's not about me. It's about helping the fans that go to the games. I find it a rip-off, and I think it shows exactly where football is and where football's going, because it will come in now and it will stay. It won't go. That's what we'll know. It will be there forever. And sooner rather than later, all your Super Sundays, they won't be free. There will be pay-per-view, like the boxing. This is their way of bringing it in. I'm convinced of it. I just think it's another way to make money. It's tough enough for everyone. It ain't as tough for Sky as it is for people like you and I living around everywhere. You know what I mean? And people in this chat. But we're scratching for a living. These people have got millions, billions. Let's not try and break the everyday person for... It ain't a lot of money, 15 quid, but it soon adds up when you're doing it every single week. And I just think the clubs themselves should have a little bit of art now. You know, West Ham are sat on our money. They're earning interest off of everyone's money. Not mine, as I said earlier when I say our, not me. There's a way they could help. And you know, them little things, them little touches just might... like Kieran's just put here, well done Leicester voting against it. Everyone spoke about Leicester. Everybody. Could you imagine if Golden Sullivan come out and went, we ain't charging our fans, we're going to send all our season ticket holders a link to be able to watch it, we've covered it. They'd get a bit of credibility. They're not that clever and they don't care that much. That's the biggest reason why. So for me, mate, yeah, I just think it's another rip-off and another way to make money out of a football fan. And when you got people like, or someone like, what's her name, that Iloku, whatever her name is, what's her name? Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? The one the girl whose tweet I tweeted yesterday. No one's forcing you, was her words. No, you're quite right. No one is forcing me. But Sky are trying to force me to pay to watch the football team I support and take away the free games that we do get to choose to watch. And I just, for me, it ain't right. She won't care. No one's forcing her to not work for Sky either, but she does all right out of it. I just find it all rude. And people like us who walk the streets, who support a football club, the days of being the working man's game are long gone. And that's the problem for me now. And that's why I think that's there.
I have a different perspective on it, mate.
Go on.
I actually think it's the right move. And I've been saying it for a long time. Even before COVID, I was always saying that at the end of the day, pay per game has to be the next way forward for watching football. Has to be. Because at the end of the day, you can moan about the fact that you've got to pay some money, but if your team's not on Sky, you can't watch them anyway. I'd much rather have an option to watch them than not watch them. I just think £15 is way too much.
What do you think the cost should be with what you're saying?
There's two ways of doing it, mate. You either need to change the fees that you... Because if you're going to say you no longer got Sky Sports with premium games, you can't charge the fee that you charge now for your monthly subscription for Sky Sports. So that has to change. You can turn around and say, look, we're going to give you all of the other sport on Sky Sports for nothing as part of the standard package on Sky now, but you don't get any of those premium football games. Or you have to turn around and say, we are still going to charge you the same subscription rate, or it's £5, $5.99, whatever it may be. And then that's more reasonable for people to afford. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're still charging a premium rate subscription fee every single month and charging you through the nose £100 a month or whatever it is. And now we're going to take away the main reason why people pay for that amount for their television subscription, and now we're also going to charge you £15 per game on top of that. You can't do that. So it is the right move. I would much rather be able to watch football than not watch football, my team, because let's be honest, West Ham's hardly ever on the telly anyway.
If that was the case, and you could do it every week, say a £5 a game, would you have renewed your season ticket?
Yeah, because I don't do it to watch football. I do it for the day out. The day out's what's important to me. So I'd much rather go, and I think a lot of people would. Yeah, I mean, attendances might be affected a little bit, to be honest, mate. They might go down a little bit. But, if those people who don't really want to go anywhere and it gets rid of some of them fair weather supporters, I ain't got a problem with that either. Hopefully they'll stay at home and sit in their armchair, and I'll be with like-minded people in the stadium, with people who actually want to go and cheer the team on. So, yeah, to me, I do think it was always going to come. It was always going to be the move that I think was made. But it's just how it's been done, I think, is wrong. And like you say, in these times, £15 a game, and actually forget about these times. £15 a game is a liberty anyway. It's not a one-off massive event like a Tyson Fury Wilder or a Tyson Fury versus Joshua. It ain't like it's a one-off event that you're not going to see for another 2 years or however long. Yeah. It's something that you're going to have to do every week. You can't afford to do that every week. But you know what they're like, mate. They'll want to lock people in. So they'll make it expensive for people who want to pay as they go. And then they'll probably offer a month pass for your team that you'll get a discount on. And they'll lock you in on a direct debit. So you've got you hooked in then. Do you know what I mean? So I think it will change a little bit. Yeah.
I get that. I do get that, and I agree with that. I think it should. I think it was always going to be an option, and we've always said you should be able to, because even on away games you can't get tickets to. You should be able to. For some people, should be able to watch it. But I'm just commenting on our times are now. That's why I think it's a bit naughty. And Adrian, you bang on, mate. It's not just Sky; it is BT as well, and I think it's also Amazon that was on about doing something.
Given us a great idea, mate. Look at this. If you start charging for this, boys, I'm out of here. I think we should do like £5 a video or something, shouldn't we?
I don't think we have any subscribers left.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they ain't run away yet, waiting for Declan's boots to come through that we still ain't got and give away. I have spoken to him about that. It's just difficult times to meet him and get anything, and I don't think he's a man who's going to post them to me, that's for sure. So as soon as the time's right, we will get them. No one has lost out. I won't worry about that. I think Adam's right there on a dodgy stream box. Ain't the Fire Stick's the way forward? Ain't they got everything on them?
Yeah.
Someone keeps I can't remember who it is. Someone keeps DMing me. Baz, I've got a Fire Stick. If you want it, get everything on there. X, Y, Z.
To be honest, I can't believe that clubs haven't done it themselves, mate. Like, you've got West Ham TV, Chelsea TV, you got all that sort of stuff. I can't believe clubs haven't worked out a way that they can, do it themselves and make them money that way.
Have you seen Cave on the blood list? This is the man who we got on regarding thingy, wasn't it?
Yes.
In the Czech Republic, you can pay £5 a month for the channel Premier Sports. This basically shows 3 games every match day. That's good. That is good. 3 games for a £5. And we're paying 15 quid for one. You know what it's like and all, mate. We end up paying 15 quid, and that's when West Ham start going torrid. And you're turning it off after like 6 minutes or something with 2-3-0 down. So we got them the weekend.
Mate, we'll beat them.
Confident.
Very confident that we'll run through Tottenham, mate.
Your mate Jose?
Yeah, we'll run through them. No problem. They won't be able to cope with... If we play the way we've done in the last couple of games, They won't be able to cope with our mentality, mate. When you watch Mourinho on that documentary, I know I go on it about it a lot because I've blooming enjoyed it, which I was surprised at, but he desperately tries. All he says every time, nice guys don't win football matches. You've got to be this. You've got to be a bastard. You've got to be this. You've got to beat that. He desperately tries to get them in that mentality of fighting and commitment and passion, and they haven't got it, mate. They haven't got it. And that's why in recent years we've had the better of them, because they just haven't, they're just not wired that way. That squad is so soft, mate. In that changing room, he desperately tries and G them up, and it just doesn't happen. Not only that, but their captain is useless at it as well. Harry Kane, mate, he hasn't got a bit of motivation in him. So because of that, if we play the way we have done in the past couple of games and put it on them and get stuck in, and Antonio's a pest and Bowen's running at them, they won't fancy it, mate. I promise you that. And I think we'll go and turn them over. I really do.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't go here fearing, not at all. They're definitely gettable at or like at the back. I don't think they're very good whatsoever. My comment said earlier on about Eric Dier, especially if he's starting centre back. I don't have a lot of what's the right word? I don't have faith in them as a defensive unit. So I think we can probably get them the way we've been playing. For me, it's how we defend. If we defend and are organised as we was the last couple of league games, I think we'll turn them over. I don't think it'll be a struggle. There's talk that Gareth Bale's going to be ready for the game. You know, again, he ain't going to be match fit though, is he? You know, so you're only going to probably see him for an hour, maybe 75 minutes. I can't see him playing it all. And if you get someone, put one through him early, maybe he'll shy away a bit. JP's just said there about Harry Kane struggled for England, but he won't struggle to be fit Sunday. You're probably right. And he is dangerous. The thing for me with them, it's all about Son. If you can control Son's pace and movement, I think you win the game.
The thing is, you can wind him right up, mate.
Yeah, big time, yeah. Get him
if you get someone who knows how to wind a player up, you can wind him right up. You've seen his temperament, mate. He's got a terrible temperament. If you can be a little bit niggly with him, if you can grab hold of his shirt, if you can wind him right up and get in his ear hole, mate, he loses his head. And
same as Lamella.
They're the things that you have to do, mate, in like football nowadays. You've got to be clever enough to go out there and do that. So I'm hoping that we've got someone who picks up on that and you know, upsets him a little bit, because once you upset him, mate, his head goes completely.
Yeah, Daryl's just echoed what I said there. Stop Son, you stop Spurs. And for me, mate, that's their threat. Harry Kane's very good. Let's not make no mistake about it. He knows how to score goals, but he ain't got the pace. And I think we've got enough about us to stop him from playing. J.M. has just put Bowen against Davis. Mate, my money would be on Bowen all day long there. My money would be on Fornals. My money would be on Antonio. I think defensively they're shocking. Really bad. I don't think Rice's is anywhere near as good as he was now. And we have a chance. The only thing for me, like you've said, Frankie, you got to get at players like Lamella, who's their playmaker, and Son. If you stop them and get them in trouble and get them on the back foot, you have a chance. Bale will be a threat, no doubt. But as I say, if you get one put through him early on, I think we'll be all right. I don't fear going. Other times I thought we ain't going to get nothing here. We might have a chance because it's a derby, but I don't have that fear. Not the way we played the last couple of games. And as good as they've been, and as good as their results have been, I still don't have no fear as such.
I don't think their results have been... I've watched them games, mate. Man United were just awful.
Yeah.
I don't actually think they've been in this amazing vein of form, mate. I don't watch anything from them that I thought, that scares me. I really don't. I actually think that the last couple of results have flattered them, and I don't think they'll carry on in that way. And Harry Redknapp on transfer deadline day saying the surprise winner of the Premier League might be Tottenham. I don't know what he's been smoking, the geezer, but he's off his nut, because they ain't going to go anywhere near winning the Premier League. So yeah, I do honestly think we'll iron them out, mate. I think we'll proper turn them over. I really do.
I am with you on that. What was the Tottenham performance that I see? Southampton, it might have been. Yeah, it was when they was behind at half time. Again, the only reason, and they won that 5-2. The only reason they won that match is because Saints come out second half dreadful, come out and played this high defensive line that they got caught 4 times from with Son. Apart from that, Spurs weren't great, and I agree with what you just said. They've not been playing great, and I think that's the difference with us. I think we've been playing great. And that ain't just boasting because I'm a West Ham fan. I honestly think we have been playing spot on, tactically spot on, and really, really well. And like, I'm confident. I'm confident we'll go there.
I don't think our formation will play into their hands at all. I think, we've said this formation you can't play this formation every game because it won't work. Well, I think this is one where it will work. I think
it will there, yeah.
I think it will null Son. I think Harry Kane won't get an ounce of space. And I think it will be perfect for this mob. And like I say, mate, I'm very, very, very confident that we turn them over.
But that formation only works with that personnel.
Yeah, no.
If we have any injuries,
well, Masuaku's the worry, obviously, because you take him out, and that can really upset the balance there. So that's my concern, mate. That is my concern.
If we get any injuries, that formation don't suit us. I don't think.
No,
personally. Baz, can you give a shout out to Hungerford Town? Everyone has down for relegation. Another win Saturday against Tonbridge. We're now second from top. We play on the National South. Big up Hungerford Town. Cheers, Frankie. Nice one. Good result the weekend against Tonbridge.
Hungerford Town, mate. That's the sort of stuff.
Always hungry.
I bet they've got a good old burger van down there and all that. That would be blinding.
I can't turn my back on the Badgers, mate. 3-2 winners again the weekend in the Vars. We're going to Wembley.
These Badgers.
Mate, we're going to Wembley. Que sera, sera. If we get to Wembley, see, we're allowed fans. I don't know what the crack is if we got there. We're allowed fans at the moment at level 5, whatever it is. If we get to be allowed fans at Wembley, you're coming with me dressed up as a Badger.
I'll do it. If you get to Wembley, I am there dressed as a Badger.
I'm getting a fancy dress.
I'm doing it. And I'll do one of these shows dressed as the Badger and all.
Yeah, mate, we've got to. I went and watched them Saturday, mate. It was freezing. I was in bed near enough all day yesterday. I woke up yesterday morning and felt bunged up. And I thought, I ain't missed this watching football in the cold malarkey. They ain't at home now until... No, they got their next game Saturday away in Fareham. If it's freezing cold.
I was looking the other day, mate, for... I was looking for... Oh, what's his name? Why has my mind gone blank? We interviewed him on here. Your favourite?
John Arson.
No.
Whose favourite? Tony Gale. Tony Gale. Warm Casuals.
I was looking at what their home games were from now up until the run into Christmas because we still ain't been down there yet. And
no, we have got to go.
I just haven't got a game for ages. Just
was they not?
Nah. So unfortunately, it's not looking until after Christmas now. But we need to get down there as well.
Yeah, we have got to go down there. We said that. I don't know what division they're in. Not too sure. There's a few people who follow West Ham who follow them as well because of Tony. And are from Walton. I worked in Hungerford. What division were Hungerford in? Did he say? He was in the National South. Okay, so that's the division. See that? So if Dean is Paul Town in your league, a Paul Town in yours, and Truro and all that. That's the division below, obviously, the conference, which Eastleigh are in. I've been and watched Eastleigh a few times.
Well, there ain't been much happening, obviously, mate, because international break. So I guess the only thing that we, haven't really talked about is the fact that Declan is still a hammer, mate, and he's still around us, which is only good for the foreseeable. So, that was a plus. I guess we'll just take some questions now, mate. We won't be a long one this morning. We'll do quite a bit on the run-up to the game, as we've been missing for a little bit. So we'll put out quite a bit of content this week. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, ask away. And we'll do that for the next sort of 15 minutes, and then we'll get off.
Just touching on that, we spoke last week about doing the live feed fundraiser for Isla. I was reading something. I don't know what I was reading. I just said it. For Isla, because it's her birthday on the 22nd. I see Nicola last week, and I've told her what we're doing. And I said, Isla's favourite toy shop is Smith's, Smythe's, or whatever you call them. And she said, whatever we raise, if we can get a voucher for that, it would be amazing. I took her to the toy shop in Southampton last week when I visited her at the hospital because she wanted to get a couple of blind bags for Isla. And she pointed out a scooter for Isla. It was like a scooter that she can ride and also Nicola can push for when they're out, which was, I'll be honest, it was 230 quid. I said that we had someone who was willing to donate £100 straight away, so we should get near that. So if we can get to 230 quid, I've said to Nicola that we'll buy that, and that will be a present from everyone at Claret and Blue Army TV from us. Also, I'm going to put a tweet out after we finish this, which is for her birthday, for cards to be sent to her house as a poster made with all the details on of where she lives, etc. They was due home Sunday. They had to stay now, as they have to come back Wednesday for another checkup. Then they're home for a couple of weeks before they come back. So if we can get the card sent out, if you want to do it, as I say, I'll do a tweet with the address with a poster. Get it sent out, and we'll do this Thursday show, will we, mate? As a fundraiser for her, which we was going to do last week, the phone in. Just to clarify as well, have we got a phone in? Is your machine back, or is it still broken, or is it going to be through the links?
Still with them at the moment. I'm hopeful that we'll have one back by Thursday, but who knows at this point.
Cool, perfecto. Right, what did we have on the old questions, mate?
Not much has come through. Where do you think we'll finish this season? From Andrew Harkin.
It's hard because if we go back 4 games, we all said that we're going to get relegated. There weren't 3 worst teams, and I think most people agreed with that. I'm not saying everybody, but most. Watching the last couple of performances and results, if we can stay injury-free, which is a big if for West Ham, but if we can stay injury-free and get through the majority of the season without any big suspensions, injuries, there's no reason we can't finish mid-table, maybe just above, with the way they're playing. The biggest problem is it's the luck West Ham have and the depth of the squad. If you lose Souček, Rice, Antonio, Masuaku, you're open for trouble. There's no cover. There's not enough depth to keep you going on the run you're on, in my opinion, and the formation changes and then you get caught out. So mid-table, I think, will be an ideal finish this year, and then it's something that I really, really hope we can get to build on.
I'm going to go 14th. I don't think we'll get anywhere near mid-table or the top half. I just don't think we'll. I think there's quite a lot of teams that are up there now. Top 6, 7's done. You know, Everton are looking amazing. Villa, I think, are going to be pushing in there. I don't think we'll quite get there. But like I said, mate, just for this season, not having to look over our shoulder is enough for me. What a boring way to support a football club. But, you know, after the last couple of seasons we've had, just not looking over our shoulder will do me.
Yeah.
What about Declan Rice and his so-called new contract? Do you think he'll sign a new contract with West Ham?
No.
I can't believe people actually think he's going to sign a contract with West Ham. I cannot believe that people have bought into this whole 120 grand a week larky. The thing with it for me now, the contract's only coming to raise his value. That's the only reason. You know, if not, the contract would have been given a long time ago. And let's be honest. And we know this for a fact. The reason he didn't leave this transfer window is because there was no bid. It wasn't because we wanted to keep him. X has confirmed that. X never once come out and said, we ain't selling him no matter what. X come out and said, Rice ain't leaving because there's been no bid. The reason there's been no bid, and he's been told. It's been confirmed to him there'd been no bid. That's why he said he weren't leaving the football club. If there had been a bid, would he have left the football club? 100%, I think he would have done.
And that's why this contract now is just crap. This contract should have happened in lockdown last year when he took over the captaincy.
That season
exactly,
was
mate.
Finished. It should have been on the table.
Did they even? What a way to present him with Hammer of the Year. Congratulations, son. And we want you at this football club for a lot longer. Here's £100 million. But now, not £100 million. Here's a £100,000 a week contract. How's this? You're Declan Rice. You go and do what you've done for England. I mean, this is after last night. Stand out. Get rave reviews. What have you seen your club do this summer? Approach 26 or 28 centre-backs and sign none. None. You think that boy's going to sign a contract to stay here? Not for me.
And I think do you know the problem you've got, mate, as well is, and this is how clubs get into the trouble that they do and end up having to take a lower amount on players that they should get a real nice fee for. And that's that they leave it like this. They then try and get them to sign a contract because they want to up their value. And when the player turns around and goes, piss off, you're bang in trouble. And we could look back on this. You know, everyone was saying the most important thing was Declan Rice to stay with West Ham United. We could look back on this in 2 years' time and go, why didn't we sell him when we had the chance? Because he could end up going for almost nothing.
And this is the thing. And when he turns around and says no, who looks the bad party? That's why they've done it. Look at Aston Villa with Jack Grealish. There's no way Jack Grealish has signed that new contract at Aston Villa without knowing what was coming back to that football club, knowing what they was going to spend and buy to strengthen it. He wouldn't have done it. He would have left that. I honestly believe there ain't that commitment levels in football no more. I think he would have left that football club if he never knew what Aston Villa had to spend or what they had already bought or was buying. Don't believe it for a minute. And that's exactly what Declan Rice is seeing. He's playing with these players week in, week out. They must be at training laughing at him. Dec, who are you buying next week then? Who's your club linked with now? I'm coming in, It's just rubbish. And he must feel the laughing stock of it. I don't think for 1 minute that lad signing the new contract to start the football club. I don't believe it. That club have shown him zero ambition. Zero. I don't think he'll sign the deal. And do you know what? I even think, this isn't anything I know whatsoever, but knowing him, how I know him, I think he's got more about him than just to sign it for money for a few months, weeks, whatever. Definitely. That's the difference. And that's my honesty. And that's why I don't think he'll sign it. But again, I repeat, that's not anything I know. I don't know anything. I don't talk Declan's business away, West Ham, contracts, transfers, nothing when I speak to him. Never do it. I've got more respect for the lad than that. Big up, Ian Richie, you mentioned as well, Carlton Cole's birthday, and also Paul Goddard. What a player he was. You wouldn't remember him, Frankie, would you?
No, before.
Oh, mate, he was mustard. He was mustard. What other questions did we get, mate? I've gone on a bit there about Dec. JP's here with it's a 75% chance of returning the weekend. Does he get into the starting 11 for you boys? Simple answer for me, no. Wouldn't change that team at all, would you?
No. Right. Here's another one, mate, from Brad Bill. If No doesn't play too often this season and with silly handball rules the way they are, who is our best penalty taker?
Who took the penalty in lockdown when we got one? Yarmolenko took it in the cup. I think it was Antonio, wasn't it?
Which Friday?
I'm sure it was. I had in my head, I thought it was. Tell you who does take a good penalty for us, Aaron Cresswell.
Yeah, he's good from a set piece, mate.
He does
any
take
dead ball situation, he can do the business. So,
who would I give it to? I don't know. Antonio would probably. In fact, Antonio took one over Noble, which made him score his 10th goal. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was him who took it.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what I'd give it to if he's on the pitch?
Go on.
Fornals.
Yeah.
Because I think technically, in terms of ability with the ball and his temperament and everything else, I just think he'd keep a cool head, and I think he'd be the man to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't make you wrong. But
if you were saying now who hits a ball the sweetest, he's got to be right up there. Even Bowen, mate. Bowen is a good finisher, calm in front of goal. You look at those things. When he got through the other day and he was through one-on-one with it, every time he's through one-on-one with a keeper, he puts it in the corner. So that gives you the confidence that if he stepped up with a penalty, he'd just slot it in the corner and job done. So 4 nails or Bowen for me, mate.
I ain't going to talk too far away from Cresswell either, but I think Antonio will get it. But mate, I think...
That's madness if you give it to him. Madness.
Who?
Antonio.
I think he will be it, mate. I do think that. Because I think that's the thing for him. And Scott put it on there, he did. He took the ball from him at Manchester United away and scored the penalty. And Noble started that game too. Because I remember watching that game. What has he done? I think Bowen's a shout. Oh, I don't know. It's hard. I think Antonio would get it personally. But for me, it would be... Bowen would be up there. Or Cresswell. That would be my that'd be my takers. Yeah, look, Benrahma takes penalties. He's got to get in the team, Kieran. He ain't even in the team yet. Any other questions in there, mate?
Not really. We did have one, which was we sort of touched upon it earlier, which was who would you have rather signed, King or Benrahma?
King for me, 100% King. Only because he gives you the 2 options. And I just think that it's a for less money as well. And I don't think he's any worse player. I think he's well, I'll tell you the difference. Josh King's proven himself in the Premier League. And this was my argument in the past when I said about wanting to sign Callum Wilson and not... Who was the guy we was linked with before we signed Haller? Maxi Gomez. I would have rather Wilson then because he had proved he could score goals in the Premier League. And for me, that's massive. But on the flip side, Jared Bowen, he's come up and he's done superb. You can't knock what he's done.
I think Kieran's just made a really good point there, which we've both made at other points during this transfer window, mate. And Kieran was asked about King or Benrahma. He said, I want both. And, mate, we were supposed to be next level. Why is it always one or the other situation? We should be able to go and sign both, mate. It shouldn't be a either or. It should just be, if they're both what you need, go and get them.
Yeah. KM, why would you sign King over Benrahma? The reason I'd sign King over Benrahma is because our chairman told us we had 8 wingers before 2 of them left, so we should have 6. So if we got Benrahma, he'd make 7. If we lose Antonio, we've got Haller, who doesn't suit the style we play. So with King, you'd get someone who can play the left wing and someone who can play up top. Not on about their technical ability whatsoever. I'm on about the depth of the squad. Josh King's proven at the Premier League what he can do. We don't know if Benrahma can. Not saying he can't, but we don't know. He could come and be a fluff. Whereas, with Josh King, he's done it and he knows how to play in the Premier League. So for the sake of £13 million for him, which if you've got 30 million to spend on Benrahma, would leave you 17 million pound to spend on someone else. I'd spend 13 on Josh King and use that 17 million pound to strengthen other positions at the football club, which I think we're desperate for, rather than just buy one player because of video clips we've seen of him doing tricks and turns and nutmegging people and things like that. That's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. And KM's just said it. Moyes hates fair players, so he'll probably favour Josh King. I don't think he hates fair players. He just likes grafters. And the way that we've got the results that we've had in the past couple of weeks has been because we've got everyone grafting for the team. Let's be honest, West Ham United used to be about that, mate. That's what we was all about. It was about 100% commitment levels. It was about, leaving everything on the pitch. And we've had that the past couple of games. So I don't see why we'd want to change that balance, really, mate. I think
no. Do you know what's changing it? You know what's changing it, mate? And Snazzy's just put it. Benrahma is not a Moyes type of player. This must be a bold signing. And all it's for is to try and appease the fans, buying a £30 million player. But like I said this earlier on, £30 million won't only be £30 million. That will be a loan to the football club that they owe them again. And they've pocketed the money from Grady Diangana. If he's that good, Benrahma, and I'm not saying he's not, if he's that good, then Why are we even quibbling about prices now? Why is he not signed? Why is it not a done deal? Why didn't we sign him before this window? If he's that good and we needed him that much, why didn't we do it? We're now chasing. And the reason we're chasing, because they missed out on their other targets, which were centre-backs. And they need to try and appease the fans now and try and make something a little bit better. And people will run off and think, look at what we've got. This geezer who can do nutmegs, who can shoot from outside the box, X, Y, Z. That's not our problem. Our problem is the depth of our squad. And that's where, for me, we need to make sure we do things right. And blowing 30 million quid on him doesn't make sense when he said he couldn't blow 40 million quid on the centre-back, which we're desperate for. Desperate. And Adrian
away here, mate. Look, check the running stats of the Championship and buy the top three. They love a runner out there. Absolutely love a runner.
I think he's just Adrian's just said it there as well, mate. Why hasn't anyone else gone for it? I don't know. And we've heard it. This isn't our manager trying, and this is another problem we've got. This isn't our manager trying to sign a player. This is the owners of the football club trying to sign the player again. And all the whilst that happens, that's why no manager would do well at West Ham, because they don't get the control. Everyone's raving, and I mean raving, how good the signings are of Surchek and Bowen that David Moyes has done. Well, let him go and buy what he thinks is the next best player, which would be Josh King, instead of going with the owner. And there's your problem. And these problems will continuously come and go all the while they're at the helm of the club. And Paolo, West Ham fans ain't moaning about signing him at all. I've just given you my opinion. I'll tell you what I moan about.
Mate,
I moan about the fact we
promoted.
No, but I moan about the fact that we let go another player who had proven to be one of the best in the Championship last year for 18 million quid. And we're now spending 30 million quid on a player who people are telling me had a few better stats than him. I didn't think he did. I thought the talk was Dier was the best winger in that league. And we knew how good he was from our own players. We're now gambling on someone we know nothing about.
I think that's such a... And do you know what? That's a typical West Ham way of doing business. The best player in the Championship. What a weak argument and what a weak way to sign a player. At the end of the day, you should sign a player because it fits into a system, a culture, a style, and that's what you need. You don't just go, oh, that player's got the best stats, so we're going to sign him. Because if he ain't the right fit for your team, it ain't no good. You have to sign him for a reason, not just because he done well and didn't even get promoted. And in all the big games that he had, he didn't turn it on and didn't do the business. Strange.
Baz, judge him if he comes. Mate, I'm not going to judge him that he's a bad player now. I've not said that. I've said he's a good player. He's obviously got... I've seen video clips, but that doesn't make him be the right player for West Ham. I'll judge Grady Dier, who played for West Ham, who went out on loan, got voted to be one of the best wingers in the league, if not the best that I was told, comes back to have all the players saying how good he is, our forwards saying how good he is and what he does, to be sold. That's what I'll judge on. I don't know nothing about this boy.
Mate,
no West Ham.
Some people have said he could be Payet number 2. I'm
mate, how good would that be?
Convinced, but mate, I would give anything for that. And if he comes in and does that, mate, happy days.
100%.
All good.
But again, and this is the thing, I'm not moaning about him. We've lost 2 wingers for him. 2. So you need to buy 2. It's not him. Stop running away with it's him, Paolo. I'm not on about him. I'm talking about what the club are doing. That's the big difference. I hope if he signs for West Ham, and I say this every single day and every single week on the thing, I hope more than anything it turns out to be for the best for the football team, not for the owners of the club, the team. I don't want anyone to foul West Ham, not at all. I don't want to. I hope whatever I say comes out in 6 months' time. You was wrong about that. Brilliant. I half hope I'm wrong about the owners. I don't think I will be, but I half hope I'm wrong about them. I hope they do take this club to be in the top 4. Couldn't think of anything better than West Ham being in the top 4, the team I support, without being bought by billionaires and being given it like Chelsea was. Couldn't think of anything better. But I'll still speak from my heart, and my heart tells me we let go a young man who was ready and proven to be ready for that club to cash in on him. We're now buying a player who could be 30 million quid that won't be 30 million pound out of West Ham's budget. That will be a loan that fucks this club up even more. That's what I care about, mate, this club. Not about the player, not about his back heels, not about his nutmegs, nothing like that what he does. I'm not knocking him. I'm knocking the thing about West Ham and what happens to West Ham. And them two people at the top of it will destroy it. No matter how good a player is, no matter what the signing is. That is my personal opinion.
Yeah, agreed, mate, agreed.
Well, that is
let's call it a day there, mate. We'll obviously got Thursday, which would be good. So Thursday we'll have the
Thursday phone in charity call in for a little Isla fundraiser. We get some prizes and stuff to pass out and hand out, etc., etc. What day is England playing? Is that Wednesday?
Don't know, mate. Don't know.
Let me check. I can't be Thursday. I'm sure it's Wednesday. Wednesday, England. Yeah, 7:45 Wednesday. So we can have a little bit of a chat about the England game as well.
Sounds good to me.
Appreciate everybody who has joined in and your comments and our opinions, your opinions, X, Y, Z. We will catch you all on Thursday for the next live stream.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in